Hi guys. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off because the light was weird. I jumped on a minute early to give people time to hop on, say hello if you're watching the replay. I would love to know that you're watching the replay and to hear if it was helpful for you. So good morning from the West Coast. I live in California, so hi. Say hi when you hop on. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. Yay, Friday. I love Fridays. Love Fridays. So I'm going to give it just a minute or two. That's why I got on early, was so that people could hop on with me. Oops. There we go. Good morning. Yay. I'm so excited. Good morning, Tiffany. I am so grateful to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you. So grateful to be here, and so excited to talk to you guys about this. Hi, Angel. Yes, good morning from the West Coast. It's still morning here, but I know in the East Coast, you guys are in your afternoon. Yes, Fridays are amazing. Where is everybody watching from? I'm so curious because I know that Patty lives in New York, and so I'm just so curious where everybody is at the moment. And I hope you guys are all having a good start to your day. So I am just going to kind of dive in a little bit and get started because I'm sure you all have stuff to be doing and things, and this is in the middle of the day. And I just want to first say, like, so grateful that I was able to reschedule for today. I am so sorry. I hate making a commitment and then not showing up. But the first little tidbit you should know about me is that I suffer from chronic migraines. And on Wednesday, I had one that came over me. I woke up with it, and that's the really sucky part, is that I just all of a sudden will open my eyes and bam, there's a migraine. So I tried to nurse it and feel better by the evening time, and it just did not work out well for me. So I apologize for not showing up on Wednesday, but Patty was gracious enough to let me come back here on Friday. So and you know what though? I am honestly so grateful that I had a couple extra days because we are doing accelerated leadership, and it reminded me about the Atomic Habits book that I read from James Clear. If you have not read that book, I highly recommend it. I'm going to be talking about a couple of things that he says in there about habits and goals and dreams and all that good stuff. And so I'm just so glad that I had a couple extra days because I was reminded of some of the really great content that he added into there. So hello. Okay, I'm going to get started. And so I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Brianna Engel. I am a Superstar Director out of California, Northern California, Central California. I don't live near Hollywood or anything like that, though I do love Disneyland. So I am a Superstar Director, and I am just so grateful to be here. I am 30 years old. I told you where I live. I have 3 children, a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old. So I stay pretty dang busy, you guys. And with COVID and all the craziness that happened last year and that's bled into this year, my kids have been home for the most part. And so we have been clawing our way through distance learning and all that. So it's been crazy, but it's been pretty awesome to see what's come out of last year. And I'll talk about that a little bit more, but I am a stay-at-home mom, well, obviously work-at-home mom, and my husband is a police officer. And so that's also a really weird situation going on. But I love my husband's profession and love what he does and contributes to the community. And so he inspires me on the daily to be a better leader and just a better person. And so love that about him. So that's a little bit of my story. I joined Scentsy in September of 2017 and promoted to Superstar Director September of 2020. So about the 3-year mark is when I locked in that Superstar Director promotion, which is honestly absolutely crazy. so I will also talk about that because that was a huge dream of mine, and the vision that got me there and what I had to work for to get there is a process. And I just want you guys to understand what that looks like and how that can be applied to your life. And then one other little tidbit that I want to share about me to you guys is that I am Friends obsessed. Okay, so that's just like a fun fact for you. So if you love Friends, you drop down your favorite Friends character because that is one of the things that I am like absolutely 100% obsessed with. Like, here's my cup. So Friends is really fun. So, okay. So that's a little bit about my story. I saw that you guys were dropping down, in this group. I would get notifications every time. I love it. I'm getting notifications for this group and I was seeing all of your guys' vision boards and I was blown away by some of your guys' dreams. And I love nothing more than to see people dreaming really big. And certified consultant, like all of these really big dreams that we know is going to take so much work, and we have the courage to speak it into existence in form of putting it on a board, right? Even just putting together like a little collage on a picture app or something, that's a big deal, because not only are you creating that and you're showing yourself visually what you want to accomplish, but then you're posting it here in a group, right? For accountability reasons, obviously. But you're telling the world, like, this is what's in my heart. This is what is driving me. And that to me is such a beautiful thing. I love watching people do that. And so I was so inspired by you guys, and I'm actually like thinking about how can I update mine, but I wanted to show you guys my vision board, my dream board, because I have a physical one. I saw this board at Hobby Lobby in the clearance section. I was like, oh, I really love that. So I made it my vision board, and I really need to fill it up, to be quite honest with you. And a couple of things that you see on here are things that I've already accomplished, but that I keep them on here because I think that wins, when we're talking about dreaming and goals and all of that, having goals that may not take as much energy to achieve is so important. It is so important to give ourselves permission to dream and achieve those, no matter how big or small it may be to other people or to yourself. Give yourself the breadcrumbs in front of you to be able to just walk a few steps and pick it up and say, oh my gosh, I did this. Okay. Because that is motivating, right? So motivating to be able to celebrate and know and believe that you are capable of moving towards the next big thing, right? So just wanted to show you guys my vision board real fast, because I think that it's so awesome that you guys are doing this, and it's so fun to share. And I saw a lot of really similar things. So this is a really huge board, but I've got my RV on here. Me and my husband would love to get one. I am a huge Highland cow gal. Like, I really, really want to own Highland cows one day. We are in the process of making that happen. I've got my $10,000 Scentsy check, and I actually wrote the date on here of when I achieved that, which was in September. Our September paycheck is when I achieved that $10,000 paycheck, which was mind-blowing, okay? We do have a dream to move to Texas. I want to be a published author. Taking my family to Disney World. I did achieve that. We are going to go to Disney World. I earned for all of my family plus an extra spot. So that was incredible. Being a superstar director, achieved that. And then buying a house. And we are in the process of doing that right now. So that is currently what's on my vision board. I was so excited to be able to share that with you guys, because I love that you guys are vulnerable enough to share that in this group, right? To each other and have accountability. And so it's nice to have a reminder that I need the accountability too. And so that hangs on my wall in my office over there. And it's something that I look at on the daily. Okay. So thanks for letting me show that to you guys. And like I said, I love seeing all of yours. So my thing, when Patty gave us the list of what do we want to talk about and stuff, I look through the list and there are a few things that I'm like, oh, I could talk about that. I could talk about that. And I sat there for a minute and I was like, wow, but goals and dreams, that's something that I feel like, first of all of us can relate to, right? All of us have huge goals. We have dreams. And every time you close your eyes, I titled this, we dream with our eyes closed. Like we can dream when we're sleeping, but when we wake up, we actually have to do something. Like that's when the action happens. And so everybody has a dream. Okay. We all have these, magical things in our minds and in our hearts. And I love that. And I think that there's something really special about that. And when we're talking about your Scentsy business, your why was based on a dream, right? You pressed that button because you had a dream of some sort. And again, it does not matter how small it is to some people or how big it is. If that dream caused you to press that join button, then that's a big enough dream for you to chase. And that matters enough for you to go after it. So I think it's really amazing that you guys are here and working towards those dreams, no matter what they look like. But it doesn't take a lot of effort to dream, right? And we know this because we lay in bed every night and we play on our phones for a little bit, or we watch a couple episodes of Netflix, and then all of a sudden our eyes get really heavy and we're laying there, and then we fall asleep and we get into REM, which is that cycle of sleep. That's that deep sleep. And that's where our dreams happen. And sometimes they're nightmares. Okay. Sometimes they're not good dreams. But when we're in that REM cycle, that's when our dreams start to happen. And yeah, those are like Fantasyland dreams. And sometimes they mean absolutely nothing. And they're not the dreams that we put on our vision boards per se, but it doesn't take a lot of effort for those to happen. We don't have to work hard to have a dream. Okay. That's just something that maybe God has pressed on our heart. That's something that our family really wants. That it's a goal for our life to be debt free, to own a home, to have financial freedom, to travel the world, to be a superstar director. Those are all dreams that when we think about it, it doesn't take a lot of effort to have that in our hearts. But one of the cool things that James Clear says in his book is when we talk about the difference between dreams and goals, I love this. He says, winners and losers have the same goal. Okay, so I think it's important to talk about the difference between a dream and a goal. The dream is a beautiful, beautiful process that we walk through, and it's what can be a real motivating factor. It can be the reason we get out of bed in the morning. It can be the reason that we sacrifice family time or sacrifice going out with our friends or play dates. I know I do that. Okay. I work my business like a full-time job. So Monday through Friday, y'all will find me from 8 in the morning till about 2 in the afternoon, pretty much working my business. I'm throwing around laundry and I'm helping my kids with distance learning, and I'm taking them to school and picking them up on a couple of days, and, helping my youngest get some snacks and making lunch and dinner and stuff like that. I'm doing that. But for the most part, I am spending majority of my time motivating myself to work on my goals, because my dreams got me here, but my goals just get me out of bed in the morning. Okay. But my goals have to be the reason that I'm motivated enough to get in my office and to actually do the work. Right. And James Clear talks about that too, where he says, we're only, sometimes the motivation doesn't happen, before we actually start doing something. Right. I know that sometimes I'm like, I have to do PWS mail, but I'm really not motivated to do it at all. Like, I don't feel like doing it today. And that's where the discrepancy between our dreams and our goals can come into play, because dreams take no effort, and we can lay in bed all day long and be like, oh my gosh, I have this dream of buying this house and it's going to be great. And this is what color the walls are going to be. And we can lay in bed all day long, y'all, with that dream in our heart and those visions in our head. But if we don't put feet to the floor, man, those dreams are just going to stay right there, right? And sometimes, like, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Sometimes, yes, it's motivating to a point, right? But our business, if you've been here for a little bit, you know that some of the actions in our business are redundant. We have to do the same things a lot, right? PWS mail, trainings, following up with customers, parties, all that stuff. Some of that is really redundant. Some of that we just have to do it like over and over, weekly, daily. Like we just have to keep doing those things. And at some point, if maybe you don't feel it yet, or maybe you feel it now, maybe that burnout feeling, that tired, exhausted, not motivated feeling, you're sitting in right now. And let me tell you, I hear you, okay? Because if you were here last year in 2020, that was crazy. We didn't have rest. I hope that you found nuggets of rest, but it was crazy, okay? And so we can lose our motivation and our fire to want to put the feet on the floor, to chase those goals, okay? We can have the dream, but the goals is the process, and to get to the goal, to the end goal, is not the same as having a dream. And so James Clear details very clearly that sometimes the motivation does not come until after we start the process. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like to work out. Okay. I am not the workout person at all. I want to be motivated, and that's the thing, right? That's the key. I want to be motivated. I can sit there and dream of 6-pack abs and getting back into shape and fitting back into my size 7 jeans, and I can dream about that all day long, y'all. But I have a Peloton sitting in my room that I haven't been on in like 2 months because I simply am not motivated to actually put on my workout pants. Well, I am motivated to put on workout pants, but I'm not motivated to use them in the way that they're supposed to be used, okay? I'm not motivated to click in those shoes, to sit on my bike, to turn on my monitor, to do all of that. I'm not motivated enough, okay? So my goal of wanting to be fit I'm not in the process of getting any closer to that just because I have a dream of laying in bed, eating ice cream, watching Friends. That there's no connect there. And my motivation, I know because it happened to me so many times. Sometimes, you guys, I literally like stomp my feet all the way to my Peloton, click in those shoes, and I sit there and I'm like, oh God, I have so many other things I could be doing right now. I have work to be doing. And then I turn on the monitor and I start writing, and I'm getting pumped up, and my heart is racing now because I'm hot and I'm sweaty, and it's starting to get hard, and I'm thinking about quitting. And all of a sudden, usually it's about 7 minutes in that I start to feel fired up. And for me, as an Enneagram 3, I get competitive, and I really focus in on achievement and that power that I feel proud of myself for actually doing it. That sets in. And then all of a sudden I'm motivated enough to give myself another minute. And I'm motivated enough to give myself another 5. And then all of a sudden I'm 2 minutes before it's ending, and I'm like, nope, I gotta push. I'm just gonna drink some more water. I'm gonna do this. My legs are burning, and they wanna fall off at this point. But I'm gonna finish, because now I'm motivated enough to be able to say, I did it. I worked out today. I did this. I achieved that goal, that little goal that I set in front of myself to finish this workout that's going to get me closer to my end goal of fitting into my size 7 jeans. Okay? So sometimes the motivation, all you need is just enough to get yourself in the middle of that action that begins the process to getting you closer to your goal, right? So sometimes you're not going to be motivated enough to take those big steps. That's why the baby steps, that's why the little achievements is so important, okay? Because the motivation comes after. You just have to have enough willpower to take that first baby step. Sometimes you have to crawl, okay? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And in that, I believe 100% until my dying day, you guys. I believe in the power of systems. And James Clear also talks about that in his book. And he says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Okay? Isn't that, y'all, I don't know if you heard. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Okay, so if you're sitting here and you want to be a director, you want to be a superstar director, you want to buy a house, I can promise you with 100% certainty that you're not going to do one big action and all of a sudden you're sitting at director, right? You have to have systems that give you room to create habits so that you know what's coming, and you know that even if you don't feel motivated, if you begin this habit, if you do this thing, the motivation will come. And sometimes maybe you even have to do the next thing. Okay, but that's where our systems are so important, and the foundation of setting forth a bunch of habits in our business gets us closer to our goals. Okay, because when life gets crazy, because it will, when a pandemic hits, because it did, when family is hard, when you're not feeling good, when it's just chaos in your life, you're not going to do the big things that you need to do in order to get to that goal. There's not going to be one big like, okay, if I just do this today, I know that I am going to hit director next month. No, there's a system that you put into place that you tell yourself, and you know because it's tried and true, and you've watched other leaders do it, and you've practiced it, and it's your habit because every morning when you get out of bed, you go get your coffee and you come into your office or you come into your workspace and you write your numbers, right? You track your numbers today, and you know that you check your news tab in the morning. You know that as soon as 10 o'clock hits, you're checking your news tab. Okay? The habits that we have is what keeps us from falling off when life is crazy. When there's chaos going on around us, we have to have a system and a foundation to be able to fall back on. Because your dreams of buying a house when your kids are sick, when you don't feel good, when you had a bad day yesterday, or you had a fight with your spouse, or you had a fight with your sister, or your mom's ignoring you, that's not going to pull you out of bed. That dream of buying a house is going to feel so far off that you're like, man, nothing I do today is going to get me closer to that. So I'm just going to lay right here. And hear me clearly, there is so much to be said for good rest. There is so much to be said about mental breaks, mental health days, taking time for yourself. So hear me. Take hold of self-care, okay? Achieving the dreams that you want will mean nothing to you if you get there on your hands and knees and you are upset about the person you have become, okay? You need to be rejoicing when you get to your dream with excitement and joy, and knowing that you showed up a better, stronger version of yourself. And that's the goal, right? Every day we want to be a better version of who we are, who God has called us to be. I'm a believer, okay? So it's important for me to evaluate who is God calling me to be in this world and in my business, right? And are these goals in line with what He has for me? And what can I do to prepare myself to get there, right? So self-care is so important. So, what's that song? Mama told me there'd be days like this, that song gets me all the time. But yeah, there's gonna be days and sometimes those days we give ourselves permission to let those days turn into weeks, and all of a sudden we're a month in and we haven't posted on our VIP and we haven't put in an order, and people are wondering, and we get lost in this idea of I'll just do it next week. I'll just do it on Monday. I'll just work out tomorrow. It's fine. I always do that to myself. I'm always like, I'll just wait till Monday, because Monday is a perfect day to start over, right? It's a fresh new week. And man, we give ourselves permission to pile on the excuses. And all of a sudden, we can't quite see our goals anymore because these excuses have shadowed that view of what we're working towards, right? So we need systems. And systems don't need to be complicated. They don't need to be fancy. They don't need to be some big grandiose thing, right? Systems, if they're complicated, we're not going to want to step into them, right? They need to be effective and they need to work for you, right? They need to be, and that's the great thing about systems, is they can be tailored to you and your life. So my system for follow-up, we may be doing the same thing. We may be trying to achieve the same follow-up goal, but my system can look completely different than yours. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But when I'm having a hard day, but I know that I need to get some work done today, I'm going to fall back on my systems, because my dream is not going to get me out of my bed. But me knowing that the first step today, every day, to achieving that process of getting to my goal is to come into my office, to track my numbers, to check my news tab, to check in on my girls. I know. To post in my VIP, to post on social media, I know, because that's my system that I have built. And that is the level in which we will fall when the world around us is heavy. Okay? And it's going to get heavy. If you haven't felt that yet, if you're like, I'm chilling, like I'm good. What are you talking about? Like Scentsy is so much fun. Scentsy is a blast. Okay? I have never once looked around and been like, my business is a burden. No. Most of the time, a lot of the time, it's other things. And I get frustrated because I'm like, man, all I want to do is work my business. All I want to do is be inside my Scentsy. But the world is heavy. And that can slow us down, right? Because I'm not just a Scentsy consultant. I'm not just a superstar director. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a friend. I'm a mentor in other areas. I work at my church. Like, there's just a lot of things I got going on. And when those things feel heavy, man, it can really slow me down in my business. But I know that my systems require me to show up, right? They're beckoning me every single day to put pen to paper, feet to the floor, and say, nope, you want that house? That you can't get that house unless your paycheck reflects that you earned that house, that you can earn your mortgage payment, right? I've never owned a house in my life. Okay, I'm 30 years old. Me and my husband have been married for 11 years. We have 3 kids. We live in a beautiful house right now. Like, it's a family friend, so it's a steal of rent, and it's great. We live in a beautiful neighborhood. I love where we live. But man, our dream is to have this farmhouse out in the country, about 20 minutes outside of a town, a Target specifically, you know. And I want enough pasture for my Highland cows and my baby girl who loves horses to have a horse or two, and maybe some goats. I don't know. I'm not too keen on like a big farm, but I do want some Highland cows. So that's our goal, and that's our dream. And man, that dream is so clear in my head. And that's the thing, is that when we close our eyes and we see those dreams, the process in getting there is real blurry, right? We see the dream so clearly, but that path to get there is blurry. And maybe it's because our minds don't want to see the rockiness and the dips and the falling down and the hard work that we have to put into it. Our minds kind of choose to ignore that. And we're looking at the house. We're looking at that superstar director title on our workstation, right? And all of that is beautiful. And that's motivating most of the time, right? We're motivated by that most of the time. But it's not going to be all the time, right? So what do we have to do? We have to put the path to get to your dream in focus, okay? And just know, just expect, right? I think that sometimes, like, the reason the reason that like certain things hurt so much, like when you fall down, it's because it was unexpected, right? Like you're like, oh, I had no idea I was going to trip over that rock. Like it hurts. Yeah, that sucks. And that's coming from me. I'm really clumsy. Okay. I fall all the time. It sucks because it's unexpected. So the best thing that you can do in your business and honestly in life is to expect that things are going to be hard, that life is not going to go as planned, that a pandemic may just take over, okay? And your business could drastically look different than it did a year and a half ago, okay? We have to expect that things are just going to change. But what do we stand on as not changing? How do we create a foundation that says no matter what's falling apart around me, I am firm on my systems, okay? Yeah, sometimes we have to adjust our systems. I get that. But for the most part, I know that on a weekly basis, I'm following up with my customers. I'm booking parties. I'm having joint conversations. I'm collecting PRV, okay? I know by the 7th of the month, I have my leadership minimums. I know that on the 1st of the month, I have my leadership minimum, okay? Because that is what is required of me to get to my goal. So vision boards are beautiful, okay? They are the reminder of why we're doing what we're doing. It's the reminder of your why. And let me just say, your why can change, okay? When I started Scentsy, I started because I was a stay-at-home mom. And I had been a stay-at-home mom I had been a stay-at-home wife since me and my husband got married. I moved from my small town in California to New Mexico because he was in the military. And I stayed at home that entire time. And prior to that, I had worked 2 jobs. I'm a very social person. So I wanted to my dream was always to stay at home with my kids, but I was craving people. I was craving interaction with others. And Scentsy came along, and what I thought was just going to be something for me to have every night or while my husband was working graveyards or, whatever, I thought I was just going to have something fun to do on the side. I had no idea we had incentive trips. I had no idea there was a no ceiling income to be had. I had no idea that there were people around me, hundreds of people around me who were craving not just the same thing, but also needed that extra $60 a month for gas or needed that extra $100 for their cell phone bill. I had no idea that that was going to be spoken over my story when I joined Scentsy. No idea. So my why of wanting to just be able to connect with people for a reason and have something creative to do, 6 months in, I realized, whoa, we're in the middle of a Mediterranean cruise incentive. I kind of want that. Me and my husband have always wanted to travel. Yeah, I think I'll go for that. And I joined in September of 2017. The incentive ended in January, and I earned for 1. Bought my husband in. We went on our first incentive trip together, you guys. And this is off topic a little bit, but let me just say, if you have a spouse or if you have people in your life who are skeptical about your Scentsy journey, specifically a spouse, because you're not going to convince everybody that Scentsy is what it is, right? But earn an incentive and take them on a trip and watch their tune change. And you don't need to sit back and say, I told you so. There will be no laughing in their face because you will be in such awe of the transformation of their hearts. That's exactly what happened with my husband. He was not a direct salesperson. He was so skeptical. He was like, what's the catch? When is the other shoe going to drop? This sounds real nice, but when are we going to fall apart here? And he went on that trip. And I remember, I think it was the day after we arrived, we were laying in bed and he was like, all right, I'm all in. What do we got to do? I don't want to not go on a trip again. How often do they have these? What did you do to earn this? Because I need to know, how can I come beside you and help you? Because this is amazing. Life-changing. Life-changing. We have 3 small kids. And we travel every year. What? We go on vacation every year? For free? You guys. My why has changed because Scentsy has unlocked possibilities I had no idea existed. You know, we talked about buying a house. We talked about being debt free. Y'all, stay with me. Last year, me and my husband had about $6,000 in debt. And I know some people have mountains of debt, but $6,000, none of it's student loan debt, you know, $6,000, it was just like stupid credit card stuff and, you know, whatever. And that's not including cars, but $6,000 of debt we had just kind of racked up like frivolously. And, it wasn't super heavy, but it was always something hanging over our head in terms of wanting to buy a house. And so we knew we would have to deal with that at some point. And right before I hit Superstar Director, my husband, and also I need you to know, we had no savings. Me and my husband had zero savings. Again, another dream where the path to get there was not in focus. You know, I had heard of Dave Ramsey, and I just don't like money things, right? I'm not really financially like savvy. So I don't like to talk about, I do like to talk about money now, but money was hard to like talk about because I was like, well, man, we don't have a savings and we're in debt and like, ugh. So right before I hit Superstar Director, my husband said, I would really love to start chipping away hardcore at this debt now that you're making a good chunk of money. And I would also like to have a savings account. And when my husband, it's funny because when my husband says, when he's got a goal in mind, it's really, I don't know. Me and my husband have a really amazing bond and friendship. And I'm a dreamer. I'm like, I want to do this and I want to do that and let's do this and let's do that. And a lot of those things are dreams that I hope to one day achieve, but I'm in the process of working on other things right now. So we'll get to that. But my husband, man, when he says a dream, he's already got that path in front of him to get there, right? He's just a logical thinker. And so I was like, okay, babe, well, tell me what we got to do. Cause you know, I want to make this happen. Like, yeah, I'm bringing in enough income for us to be able to really try to do that. When I tell you that was in like probably around summertime, in the middle of a pandemic, in the midst of the world falling apart, y'all. When I tell you that with my February Scentsy paycheck commissions, we officially paid off all of our credit card debt, $6,000 of debt gone. And we now have $10,000 in savings. That's a dream I didn't even know would produce such fire in my heart. For my husband to, he just looks lighter, you know, like I think husbands maybe sometimes carry that financial burden or other burdens on them, and you can just see it. Maybe you feel that. Maybe you feel like you're weighed down by like finances or something hanging over your head or whatever, and you just feel heavy. And you have no idea that there's a dream, that there's a goal, something you can physically work for. And the moment that it becomes even a reality or that you're getting close, you just start feeling lighter. And you're like, whoa. And my husband is like a walking different person now. Like he's just lighter. But yeah, we had to work at that, right? We had to sacrifice. Every month we had to sit down and say, okay, what are we not going to do this month? How much can we put into, and man, it produced stuff in my business because I knew there are some things that I don't want to give up, right? Like during the month financially, I don't want to give up my Dutch Brothers coffee. I don't want to give up going out with my friends to Hobby Lobby and buying stuff for my warmers, you know? I don't want to give that up. So how hard do I have to work in my business where I can have both? Where I can chip away at that debt, put money into savings, and be able to have what I want. And I did it. We did it. And for my husband not to have to work overtime, right? Law enforcement is weird and, you know, they don't, no matter where they're at, they don't get paid like they should. And so overtime was a necessity in our story. He had to work overtime to pay our bills. Like 100% had to work overtime. He had to work more than his allotted 80 hours every 2 weeks in order to pay our bills. and then Scentsy, right? And then dreams, and then a goal, and then a system. And that's the connection, okay? That's what bridges the gap between your dreams and your goals is systems. Systems that you, real life systems, real life habits that you stop at nothing to commit to, right? And it's hard. It's hard. Like it's not easy. And I hope that nobody ever told you that this journey, that your dreams would be easy to achieve. Yes, give yourself the breadcrumb goals and milestones in your journey so that you feel that motivation and you feel pride in what you're doing and you're actively excited about taking that next step. Yes, do that. But the things that wake you up in the morning, the things that you're dreaming about, the things that make your face glow and that you get excited talking about, and maybe there's a couple tears, those things take work and it's not easy. This Scentsy journey, if you want big things, it's not going to be easy. It's just not. You have to commit to the work. And that's the thing. That's why he says winners and losers have the same goal. They want to win, right? But what is the difference? Why do winners win and losers lose? It's because there's a lack of system. There's a lack of process that pushes them forward, right? Not a single one of you is incapable of being a superstar director. Not a single one of you. You have what it takes. You are capable. You are here for a reason, okay? Not a single one of you is incapable of being financially free. Not a single one of you is incapable of buying a house. All of that is within your grasp. All of that can be at the end of the tunnel. That can be what God has for you. But you have to work to get there. You have to move, right? I love the joke about the wait, no, it's not a joke. Actually, I'm also a big Dr. Phil fan, okay? Yeah. So one of the things that he says is you can pray to God, but row for shore. Okay. And so I love that because so often we're like, oh, I've got this dream, or God, please just do this for me. Please just let this debt be forgiven and let us just like move forward. But we just sit and we do nothing when God is saying, move. You got to move. You have to create the systems that begin the process that gets you closer to that dream every single day. Okay? There is no ceiling incomes to be had with this business. Y'all, I $10,000 check. I mean, insert income disclosure here, life-changing. Not something that I ever imagined was in my future. Or at least not within 3 years, you know? What? But the thing is that also recognize if you are specifically talking about Scentsy, if you are head down, have a system, commit to it, create the habits, do the work, and stay consistent, not only will you achieve that dream that you have, right? That thing that wakes you up. Not only will you achieve that, but all of a sudden you'll one day wake up and look around and watch all these other doors unlock. You're like, whoa, all I wanted was like a house. All I wanted was to become a superstar director. And all of a sudden I've got $15,000 paychecks and now me and my husband can buy a house because we have no debt. Yeah. You want to retire yourself, working a full-time job? In the process, guess what's going to happen? Life-changing money, opportunities, so much of the problem and the disconnect that I see in this business is people spend more time dreaming than they do working for the dream. And that's something that I don't want you to make the mistake of, right? You can dream when you're sleeping, but when you wake up, you gotta work. You gotta work, okay? So, that is what I have for you today. I hope that maybe not me, maybe not this, but I hope that within this program, you take advantage of the reality that anything you are dreaming of is possible. Is possible. But you have to move. You have to give action. Okay? So I believe in all of you. I am desperately cheering you all on. Because I'm just so excited about people realizing how capable they are and how worth it the work is, okay? So commit to a system. Find your systems in this business, in your life, that will get you the result of the dream that you have. Because it's worth it. You're worth it. You're worth waking up every day and putting in that work. You are worth it. That dream is worth it. But only you can do it, right? So I love you all so much. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for cheering me on. I'm excited to read back the comments. But if I will also comment my Instagram if you want to follow me. You can feel free to friend request me. But I look forward to seeing what else you guys are doing. And I just wish you nothing but the best and big giant hugs. Have a good Friday and a good weekend, you guys. Bye.